Hi, my name is Benjamin and you're watching Benicarus Trades. Welcome to the show. Today is all about prop challenge for swing traders. Know this before signing up. But before we get into this topic, we will quickly have our daily markets wrap up for December 18th of 2023. So let's quickly check out what was going on today. Again, we have a day up after 7 weeks of continuous gains. We do still have an up day for the SPY, the QQQ and the Dow Jones, while the IWM is slightly pulling back. TLT also pulling back, now around 80 basis points. Before we get to the individual stocks, let's check out the sectors first. We do have, communication services, the consumer defensive and energy up by at least 1%, while real estate and utilities is down. On a futures basis, we do have heating oil, coffee, crude oil, gasoline, cocoa, and so on, advancing quite a bit, while sugar, copper, and palladium are pulling back. On an individual stock basis, we have basically the Magnificent Seven advancing a lot again. We do have Nvidia, Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft all up quite a bit, while only Apple and Tesla are pulling back slightly. Of course, today I decided to have a day trade with Tesla and I got stopped out. Anyway, we had some scary news today. The Houthi attacks in the Red Sea threaten the global supply chain. Basically, we do have trade disruptions to come as the Iran-backed Houthi militant strike ships in the Red Sea. Major shipping lines have suspended their services through the Red Sea as more than a dozen vessels have been attacked since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. And now the shipping industry and the world are waiting to see how the US especially will respond to the assault on global trade. Oil therefore got a little bit more pricier today, and also the energy stocks were advancing quite a bit today. So this is concerning news because it does mean that oil supply, and not just container ships but also oil tankers, might not make it in time to their destination, and that puts pressure on the oil supply, which price already surged today. Alright, I believe now is a good time to get back to the main topic of today. I really want to talk about a prop challenge for swing traders strategy. I am considering myself a swing trader and I recently signed up with the Trading Pit. Let me see if I can show you their website very quickly. So this is the Trading Pit. It is a company based in Liechtenstein, and so they are in Europe, and they offer a CFD and futures challenge. The interesting part is that their challenge duration is 90 days. Most of the prop firms offer 30 or 60 days, and I believe that's really kind of tight. So they offer a VIP, Executive, Standard, and Light account for the CFD. You can see the prices here. Do go check them out, have a look at the detailed challenges overviews, and see what their plan is for once you have passed the challenge. So of course they do, especially with the VIP and Executive, promise quite a nice income, which is of course alluring. Now back to the prop challenge for swing traders presentation. I thought I would give you 7 facts about the prop challenge and how swing traders will most likely struggle and maybe can improve on themselves. So first of all, if you are used to trade with a company like Interactive Brokers, you really have ton of different securities to trade with. You can either choose indices, ETFs, futures, options, you name it. You have almost anything you could imagine available depending on your trading experience and what kind of trading permission you have. Now, with the trading pit or the prop challenge, usually what I've seen, most of them use the MetaTrader 5, and the MetaTrader 5, within that software you can use different symbols to trade with. Usually it's currencies, some sort of CFDs in terms of indices, futures and stocks, but it's always going to be like a selected stocks list or equities list or securities list. So if you are used to trade certain symbols or stock names, please make sure the broker that is used by the prop challenge company actually has that one in offer. Because if not, you of course also have to start maybe researching all different sort of securities that you haven't traded before. And that might be a little bit strange because of course everyone likes to trade with certain securities that they kind of know. They know the price action, they know the supply and demand zones and so on. So fact number 2 is you only have a limited time to enter your orders. That's a little bit strange for me, but for instance with MetaTrader 5, you can of course log in at any time of the day, but the problem is that you cannot enter a trade. So I'm a person in the morning, I would actually kind of prepare myself for the day and I would choose stocks according to some technicals, fundamentals and the news of course, and I would enter my trades for the day. So I usually plan them out in terms of entry price, exit and of course take profit, and I thought I could do the same with the MetaTrader 5, but that is wrong. You can only enter trades when the markets are open. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Maybe that's because of the dynamic spreads they use as opposed to fees and commissions. So just be aware that you are most likely using a different trading software than what you're used to, and that can be, of course, also a real challenge. So for instance, the trading pit likes to use MetaTrader 4 or 5. So I'm opting for MetaTrader 5, and let me just show you how it looks. You have your symbols here, and you can choose what they offer. This also acts like an overview of all the symbols that the broker that works with the trading pit has to offer, and you can make them visible or hide them, and then they will show up here on the left side. So let's say you have AMD, you can drag it over and you see the chart. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but if you want to enter an order, well, that's not gonna work at this time because the markets are already closed. You can see this window here is empty. And that's of course like a big disadvantage for people who like to trade out their day and they just let it go for the day or adjust it sometime during the day, but they might not sit in front of the screen for the entire session. So that's, in my opinion, a really big downside. And hand in hand with that comes the fact that you cannot trade outside of regular trading hours. So for instance, if you use a broker like Interactive Brokers, basically you can also enter a trade outside of regular trading hours because you can allow a trade to be fulfilled pre-market or outside of regular trading hours in general. Of course, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because outside of regular trading hours, very low volume, and that might make the stock price swing quite a bit. So you have to be careful with that, especially around news events. So that's, I just kind of mentioned it, but that's a big thing. Spreads versus fees, commissions. My regular broker, Interactive Brokers, usually charges me a fee or a commission or both. And basically, I can be assured that no matter how many stocks I purchase, I can kind of always know around the ballpark on how high the fees are going to be. Also, in my head, it's not that difficult to calculate, because spreads, for instance, are a lot more complicated, because the ask and the bid price, the spread between those prices, is what goes to the CFD broker. Unfortunately, this spread is usually dynamic, meaning that if there is a lot of volatility, you only know what kind of fee you will pay once you hit the buy button, because at that point in time, the spread can be completely different to maybe just a few seconds before that. And I feel like that's a little bit dodgy, in my opinion. When I do my swing trades, when I plan them out, I'm pretty confident that this is going to work out. I don't try to find the bottom or the top. I can only assume sort of where it will be roughly, but I'm never sure. That's why I start my position slowly, and let's say the price will go down, I will buy into it. Usually that's the right way to do, because usually the price will go up eventually, and I don't have a time constraint. So a trade can, to me, take maybe just a few days, sometimes a few weeks, and sometimes even a few months. And that's totally all right, because I know exactly what my profit target is, and I reevaluate during the day if that's possible or not. Now, that is only possible because I am looking for high quality stocks, meaning that when I select a stock, it's not just the technicals that have to be right. The price, the relative price, has to be right as well. It has to be cheaper than its relative normal price, and it also has to be cheaper than maybe the peers. The moat has to be right, and it has to have a good positive outlook for the near future. I'm not looking for stocks that might fly high in a few years. I'm looking for stocks that are already flying at this point, but they are also sort of undervalued at this point in time. So that's my swing trading approach, not super aggressive, more on the conservative side. And on the other hand, we do have a prop challenge that kind of forces you to be a lot riskier. Why is that? Well, first of all, you have a time constraint, and second of all, you have to deal with this software that won't let you enter outside of the regular trading hours. You also have a daily drawdown and a total max drawdown, so you cannot just kind of swing and maybe lose 10 or 15% of your account because you will get it back eventually. If you do that during a prop challenge, you are going to be banned or stopped and kicked out for a little while until you have purchased an extension or a reset. So you have to put a lot more focus on risk management, in my opinion. Risk management, of course, is always important, but when you swing trade, it's kind of the stop loss is far away. And for instance, I protect myself especially from black swan events like attacks, wars, and things we don't know can happen. So just be aware that risk management is just a lot more important, and also it has to be a lot tighter, which in turn will force you to take more trades. To me, that takes a lot of adjustment. I haven't adjusted yet, and I assume that this is going to be the biggest hurdle for me. Of course, these prop firms, they want to make money, and first of all, they make money by you signing up and paying the price for the challenge. The more people sign up, the better it is, and the more people that fail this initial challenge, that's alright too, because they have made their money. That's why they probably use things like time constraints and drawdowns and all these kind of things. Don't get me wrong, I believe those drawdowns and being forced to have good risk management is super important, because it is what a good trader really has to do. But on the other hand, we also have to see that these prop challenge firms also want to make money, and they do it by having super restrictive rules. Anyway, it kind of forces you to have a lot more of a fear of missing out, and that can go in both directions. It's fear of missing out of being not in a trade, especially in a period like right now. It's between November 23 and December 23, which is a super crazy rallying market right now. And it's also the fear of losing at the same time. So if you are in a trade and it goes well, you really want to clock in the profits. So that's something that I haven't emotionally dealt with in a while, because when you are swing trading, because more trades are working out, even though you are taking less trades, it's not as much of an emotional roller coaster, let's say. And last, but maybe one of the most important points, is that you really should know yourself. You should know why you are doing this. I signed up for a prop challenge because I wanted to have access to more money. And I believe this motivation can be totally alright, but also it is a shortcut. You are not using your own money and honing your skills with your own money and maybe saving up. You know, many people have to save up before they become traders, especially those who are not in an prop trading firm as an employee or a freelancer or whatever. But it's kind of like an unfair cheat. You pay them a certain amount of money because they promise you will be able to use their money to trade. Just so you know, it's a shortcut that is a little bit dodgy, because usually if you want to take a shortcut, it might indicate that you are not ready for prime time. On the other hand, of course, there are many seasoned traders out there who can maybe take advantage of this system for sure. Alright, so this was a big one. Please make sure to subscribe and like the video if you think this content was valuable. If you want to help me even more, I have signed up for the Trading Pit and I do have a referral link. Make sure to use this one. I haven't passed the challenge yet, but I only started a couple of weeks ago. And that's it for today. I hope you liked this video and I'll talk to you soon.